Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 8 fast food restaurants I only encountered after moving to America, and I'm almost certain I will have heard of most of these because now I've seen them and stuff before, but if I had reacted to this 2 years ago, I'd probably know 2 or 3 max. Maybe not though, because usually with these videos it's restaurants he hadn't seen when he was here, but at this point in time, a lot of them have crossed over, and like in London mainly, you will have probably all of these at somewhere, maybe even just one shop, one chain. But London's like the spot where they will come first, and you'll typically be able to find a lot of American restaurants that you won't find around the rest of the UK. But I wouldn't have tried any of these ones because American ones I've had McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, Domino's. I'm certain that's American. Pizza Hut. What's the burger one called? What's it called? What's the burger place called? They do like bacon milkshakes and stuff. Five Guys, that's the one. There's probably a few more that I can't think of, but pretty much you've got the main ones like those, but then there's others that I've never tried, or they may actually not be in the UK or just in London. But yeah, we're gonna check this out and see, and maybe I'll be able to try them one day, but I don't know. I've just eaten and I feel sick thinking about food. Usually when I do these food videos, I'm hungry, I'm this and that, but I'm stuffed right now. I could not think of anything worse than eating food, but we're going to check this out. Links are in the description to my Patreon if you want to see some more of my reactions that I can't post to YouTube. But let's just check this out and see some of these restaurants. I hope there are some that I don't know, but I'm sure it will be stuff like Chipotle, Chipotle, Wendy's. I think there'll be 2 that'll be in here.
2009 was the number on my calendar, and also my scales. Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to fast food. Now look, I know that fast food is largely bad for you and leaves you with stinky farts, but the truth is, in both countries, fast food is everywhere. Of course, Britain acquired most of its fast food from the United States. Everywhere you go, you'll find a McDonald's, a Burger King, a KFC, or a Subway.
Forgot about Subway. Not my favourite though. It's alright. Sometimes it'll be good, but I don't have it often. I've had it probably only like 6 times in my life. 7 times. It's not my favourite.
I wanted to make that clear in case Uncle Toby demands to know why those in particular didn't make today's list. But for all the influence that America has had on Britain's fast food, it was Britain that gave birth to the idea. As indicated by this plaque in England, the first recorded case of fast food.
That would be so weird. Imagine the 1860s, you see this fish and chip place and you're like, what's going on here? Making fatty foods. Must have been big then, they must have loved that. Because that's when it obviously took off. But 1860s, you see the first one open up. That must have been a crazy time for this place. They must have got rich.
Anywhere in the world is said to be fish and or chips. And that was in the late 19th century. Fast forward to the 20th, and America took the idea and ran with it as a way to offer quick, on-the-go meals to America's workforce. During that 100 years, countless fast food restaurants formed at the regional level and successfully expanded like my stomach after 3 Whoppers. But before I moved to America, I didn't know about any of them. I had absolutely no idea how vast America's fast food choices were. And so let's take a look at 8 fast food restaurants that I only encountered after moving to America.
Before we do this, I just want to see, is it, are there any British fast food chains? Is that, yep. Why is it in caps? In America. Come on, I want to see that. No. What fast food companies are British? Okay, we'll do that then. Pret's English. Is Pret in America? That's not really fast food though. Pret's like kind of healthy. Yo Sushi's British. Greg's. That definitely won't be in the US. Wait, let me see. Is Greg's in America? This won't be in America, will it? The company's stores are located throughout the United Kingdom. Greg's also operates 2 stores in Belgium. Pret? Is Pret in America? This might be because Pret's everywhere. There are 58 Pret stores in the United States, so not many. The state of the most number of Pret manga locations in the US is New York with 40 stores. What? Because there's like 1,000 Prets in London. All right, what other ones? Leon probably. That's probably it. I mean, it's not really any good links. It probably shows that there's not anything really big in that started in the UK in the US. It's just the other way around.
In reverse order of when they were founded.
I don't know what this is.
It's not just my British viewers that might be unfamiliar with a fast food outlet called Rally's. Depending on location, I suspect this might stump some Americans, and for different reasons. Number 1, founded in Alabama in 1985, Rally's is mostly clustered east of the Mississippi. And number 2, people in the southeast of the United States call it Checkers. Either way, it's a comical reference to motor racing. Get it? Our food is as fast as a racing car and just as oily. For my part, my first encounter with Rally's and/or Checkers was in Anderson, Indiana in 2009. And in this video, that's a time and place I should copy and paste. And I'm rather glad that Rally's started in this video's inside lane because it's my least favourite on the list. And if you think I sound salty, you should see their fries.
Don't know this either.
While I've not
Culver's.
eaten here very often, I do have a bit of respect for Culver's. As fast food chains go, they're a little bit rebellious. Not only do they do the mushroom burger, but their branding
Oh, no, thank
colours
you.
go against the grain. Whereas all others took their cues from communist nations,
Yeah, the colours are all similar.
Culver's took one look at Finland's flag and went, that'll do. On the other hand, this might also account for why it's never expanded beyond the United States. In fact, the bulk of its branches are in the Midwest, which partially accounts for why I've encountered it and why I did so in Anderson in 2009.
Okay, there we go.
Here's another case where I'm going to have to preempt Uncle Toby. Technically, I encountered Wendy's before moving to the United States. Founded in Columbus, Ohio in 1969, Wendy's first came to my attention during a trip to Boston.
What?
In 2004.
In the UK or in the US?
And I remember coming away from it thinking, that was a nice McDonald's knockoff that somebody in Boston created on this street. It was only after I moved to America that I realized the country.
Oh, the Boston, US. Because the thing is, I remember going to Turkey and we went to a mall there. And there was McDonald's, KFC. And we got KFC. I don't know why. I don't even like KFC, to be honest. But there was a Chick-fil-A there. There was a lot of like American fast food places. I took a picture of it. It might pop up on my phone at one point. But I was so confused. I was like, why is there so many American fast food like restaurants here in a random city in Turkey? But then in England, you don't have any of these. It's just, I thought it would translate more to England, but clearly it doesn't. Maybe in other European countries, there's more of those US fast food chains in those countries than there is in the UK.
Country had more Wendy's than it had people called Wendy. The funny thing is, and I only discovered this week, it turns out that Wendy's, like Elvis Presley, did make some rare pit stops in Britain. In fact, just recently, the company announced that it's set to make a third attempt at cracking Britain after opening and closing stores in the 80s and early 2000s.
I've heard of this place. Don't know anything about it though.
Founded in Boardman, Ohio in 1964.
Roast beef sandwich. I've never heard of a place that does roast beef, like a fast food place.
Arby's would go on to become the favourite fast food chain of, and I quote, America's #1 British import YouTube sensation Lawrence Brown. Of course, on that fateful day when I left London for the last time, I didn't know this yet. In fact, I wouldn't know it until my first Arby's encounter in Anderson in 2009. And yes, I moved to America in 2008, so in case you're wondering what I was doing for the first couple of months, I was getting used to the language. That said, the first time that I stuffed my mouth with one of their roast beef sandwiches, my first thought was, where have you been all my life? And the answer, I've just discovered, was London and Glasgow.
Wait, there's one in Glasgow?
It turns out in Britain in the early 1990s, 2 Arby's locations were open and subsequently closed within 2 years.
Oh, damn.
Apparently an Arby's did open later in Southampton, but like the Titanic, it left Southampton and was never seen again.
I wonder why they just don't succeed, because they're so popular in the US. But then again, I've never really heard of a fast food place that does like roast beef sandwiches. So maybe that's why I wouldn't try it. But it's weird how it's so successful in the US, but just didn't seem to work here. Taco Bell. I like the sound of this place, man. I think I would love a Taco Bell in the UK. I think there was one in London, and there's probably quite a few. I think this is one that's done okay in the UK, but it hasn't expanded to a level where it's like common. But I might be wrong, to be fair.
Close to Arby's in both its date of origin and every town in which it's situated, Taco Bell was launched in Downey, California in 1962. And the first thing I remember hearing about it after touching down in the US is that half of the country's population refers to it as Taco Hell. But again, I didn't know that yet. I was willing to put it in the same camp as Culver's, enamoured once more with its communist-crushing colour scheme. But if there's ever an instance where I've come to greatly prefer its sit-down equivalent, it's Taco Bell. My first encounter, you guessed it, was Anderson in 2009. My last encounter was Anderson in 2009. Since that time, and since I've been living in America, Mexican-inspired food has been heating up all across Britain, to the extent that my homeland now boasts and or tolerates 39 Taco Bells.
How many now? Because it is kind of growing, but I've never seen one in person other than the one in London. I should have put how many. 132. Oh, it's growing. Right, you see it on this map. The closest one to me is here, which is why I've not seen them. Why is it not any in Norwich, where I live? That's a bit of an L. So where's the... And there's none up north. Oh, there is. Manchester? There's none in Manchester for some reason. Oh, there's one there. Oh, so there is a lot. That's surprising. I didn't know there was that many. Let's see how many McDonald's there are. Because in the US, right, how popular is McDonald's and KFC, for example? Are they still the most popular ones in general? People will comment saying they hate it, but in terms of stores. So there's 1,390. What about KFC? Um, 1,005. Subway. There's quite a lot of Subways, to be honest, because they're quite small, the shops, so they're quite easy. Yeah, 2,200. Yeah, loads, because they're so small. You can have them like dotted around. But Taco Bell, I think I'd like a Taco Bell. I mean, people will probably be like, "Oh, it's terrible," but it's just I like the idea of all of the stuff that you can have.
I'm not sure if you've guessed yet, but this video is not sponsored by Taco Bell. What to say about Hardee's? It's fine. It's Wendy's Mark II, and I first encountered it in Anderson in 2009. I don't have much to add except to say that it was founded in North Carolina in 1960 and that the nation can't agree on its name. So just when I'd gotten used to the idea that America has a fast food outlet called Hardee's, I found myself in Idaho Falls. I was taking a walk in what could be described as its downtown area in search of food. All of a sudden, I happened upon a building that looked suspiciously like a Hardee's. It had the same colour scheme, the same font, and the same creepy star. Except that I discovered that west of the Mississippi, they call it Carl's Jr. It turns out they're owned by the same parent company. Basically, they're sisters. Whatever it's calling itself, the restaurant has expanded overseas, just not to Britain.
In-N-Out Burger?
I'm going to take this moment to shock you, not literally. My first encounter with In-N-Out Burger was not in Anderson, Indiana. And that's because there is no In-N-Out Burger in Anderson, Indiana. And my first encounter came much later than 2009. In fact, I was 36 years old when I learned that the words burger and In-N-Out could even go together. It was in Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco where I first had the pleasure of eating one of their burgers. The main problem was the crowds, because of whom I was not in and out as the name suggests. Unless that refers to the food's journey through my digestive system, in which case the company stayed true to its word.
White Castle?
And so we arrive at White Castle.
There's a lot of these I still haven't heard of. I've never seen. The fuck?
7 words that, depending on the level of alcohol consumption, either fill you with hope or dread. Fittingly, once again, my first encounter was in Anderson. 2009 was the number on my calendar. And also my scales. Opened in Wichita, Kansas in 1921, White Castle is
Damn,
generally...
it's an old brand. Is this actually what their shops look like, or their restaurants look like? I don't want to call it a restaurant. I don't think they should be called restaurants. They are called fast food restaurants, but they don't deserve the term restaurant, in my opinion.
considered to be the first fast food hamburger chain. And personally, I absolutely love their sliders if I'm trashed. The only thing about them is the gas. On the night, you find yourself calling the drive-through intercom. The next day, you find yourself calling FEMA. Of course, it's little surprise that I never encountered White Castle in Britain, because while it has ventured overseas, it's never set foot in the British Isles. This is presumably because the market there is already dominated by actual castles and whoopee cushions. That's it for this episode.
Plus, burgers are they're the most common places, aren't they? I just want to see, what is the most popular fast food restaurant in the US? So McDonald's is, because I knew it's like McDonald's is huge, right? It's the most well known, but I always just hear people say they hate it. But it's just, as shit as it is, people still eat it. It's just so terrible. I hate it so much. Most popular fried chicken by state: Cane's, Chick's, Zaxby's, KFC's. Just about the most. Not by a lot though. Wait, can I see like images? Biggest fast food chains by 2021 number of stores in the US. 13,000 McDonald's, 7,000 Burger King. See, I only ever had Burger King for the first time a few months ago, and I've had it a few times since. It's actually all right. It's not great. It's probably, I do like it more than McDonald's though, but it's also a bit more expensive. Subway, there's just loads because it's tiny. Wendy's 5,000. Five Guys 1,300. So it's, how many Five Guys in the UK? Oh, there's not even much more there's not many more Five Guys in the UK than there is the other place, I forgot what it's called. But there's one in my city, so that's why I think it's more common, I guess. Arby's, Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's. Okay, pizza, Domino's, Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's got more than I thought. I thought Domino's was way more. Papa John's, yeah, the ones that you'd expect. But Little Caesar's, never seen that. Papa Murphy's, never seen that. KFC. Oh, there's nowhere near as much KFC as I thought there would. Wait, there's nearly more KFCs in the UK than there is in the US. What? That's baffled me. Wingstop, I've heard of that. Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, that's the one I was thinking about. Chipotle. I think I saw that in London as well. Starbucks is loads. Dunkin' Donuts is loads. Wait, is there a Dunkin' Donuts in my city? I don't even know I care so much, but I just find it interesting. Dunkin' Donuts. There is, right? What's not Dunkin' Donuts? Do they make the... Wait. What's the other donuts? Wait. Donuts store near me. Krispy Kreme. Oh, that's what I'm thinking about. Wait, is Krispy Kreme in the US? Krispy Kreme is the American, right? Wait, because a Krispy Kreme... Oh, so it is American. But there's not that many in the US. I don't know. Just confusing me. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. I greatly despise the implication that Wendy's is inferior to McDonald's, because that lends credibility to the idea that McDonald's is fit for human consumption. It's not, but we all eat it. Shamefully. Or not we all, but a lot of us. You need to try Sonic. It's found mostly in the southern part of the US. The reason I eat McDonald's right now, I hadn't eaten it for years. But because I've been trying to gain weight, it's just easy, and sometimes I can't be asked to cook. So it's just there, and I'll get like an easy 2,000 calories. It's not actually that difficult to eat. I just regret it after. But hopefully you enjoyed this reaction, and yeah, let me know your favourite one of these. Oh shit. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.